Good morning, and thank you for being with me today. I'm going to talk about my LEADS project on specialty respect. My name is Jeff Weinfeld, and I'm the Medical Student Education Director in the Department of Family Medicine at Georgetown University School of Medicine. My objectives for today, I want you to be able to define what specialty respect is, describe some of the characteristics of it, talk about some of the lessons learned from my LEADS project, including some possible interventions, and I want you to talk about Cotter's stages of change framework as it relates. So you can imagine it's match day, one of the happiest days of the year. Students excitedly rip open their envelopes to find out where they're going. But as MSc director, I'm concerned. Will this year be like other years? How will our match go? But sadly, only 5% of our students get family medicine. Lucy ripping the ball away year after year after year after year. What are we doing wrong? I ask myself. And I start to look into this topic. I learn about the hidden curriculum and about specialty disrespect that you see defined here. This thing that we're so used to experiencing, this disrespect because of the specialty that we went into. For me, this was my light bulb moment about what was going on, why we weren't having better matches. I started to look into the topic. I gathered a bunch of people together to meet at a department task force that met regularly. And we began this journey together. One of the things that we're doing is we're writing a scoping review, and you can see some of the early results here. So this is a worldwide phenomenon. Many published articles exist, including this gem from Jay Sewick, a prior chair, and it goes by many names around the world. When we looked at which specialties were represented the most, family medicine does have the most articles in the medical literature, followed by general practice in the UK and psychiatry, but there's also many other specialties that are represented here too. The most number of articles discusses students being the recipient of that disrespect, and attendings are the most common source, but students themselves, interns, residents, and fellows, and others are right behind, and rotations are the most common setting where this might occur. We also found that it impacts specialty choice in up to 25% of students. But it's not the dominant factor. And when you look at choice models, they don't explicitly account for it. We began to create some interventions for this problem. We created a pledge written by Renee Mashori. You can take on the left with the QR code, and on the right, you can see a specialty respect campaign, these lovely posters that were created by us and the Department of Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So that brings me to our LEADS project. So the idea was to research and identify a framework for change that we could use, to deepen some relationships around the medical center, and to broaden participation in the specialty respect community of practice. The idea with the community of practice was to provide a forum where people could talk about the problem and think about how we could create more of a culture of specialty respect in medical education. You can join us by using this QR code here. For my LEADS project, I also looked into what frameworks we could use to think about how to change an organization. And Cotter's stages of change model is well accepted and used broadly in the corporate world. I did some leadership interviews that were over and above my regular leadership LEADS interviews, and came away with a couple thoughts that it's better to have a very broad perspective that's more inclusive, to make interventions non-punitive, at least in the beginning, as we build awareness. We tried to apply Cotter's stages of change framework to this topic. So to start out, we need a sense of urgency. Perhaps for us, that's LCME. We need a guiding coalition and a vision. And the vision for us might be, have a more respectful environment to promote safety. We needed to communicate that vision, and obviously the community of practice through meetings with our department, other departments, our task force meetings. We need to have a broad coalition, so have other people present, not just me. So you met Dr. Hart, who's very engaged. And we need to persevere and have a long-term vision and work towards changing the system, and not just, and also embed into the corporate world, into policies and trainings and things like orientations. So to conclude, use Cotter to plan your rollout at your institution of this or some other campaign. You should start small and build bigger over time. You can start with increased awareness and then make your target integration into corporate structures. So in conclusion, specialty disrespect is wrong. It reflects bias and stereotyping, and it's detrimental to the primary care workforce that we need, as well as to patient safety. So let's work together to create a safer and more respectful healthcare environment. Here are some of the links that I shared previously, and I'm also sharing my references. Thank you for listening.